it's been a hell of a year for you guys. You guys get ready. Dark Angelus is getting ready to releases, and then boom, the world shuts down.
Immediately.
No pun intended, everything went dark. You guys had everything lined up. It was going to be an awesome fucking year. Tell me a little bit, let's go positive though. The record is heavy as hell, man. There's some heavy stuff, there's some melodic stuff. You got a little bit of everything for everybody on this record. And it's your debut with Century Media. I mean, what did you guys want to do going into the deal with Century Media, releasing the full-length debut? What do you guys want to do with this one?
Well, we always want to make the best songs that we can. Number one.
Yes.
We constantly work on that. So the idea was to make the best album possible, right?
Right.
And, and all of this happened. So we don't have nothing else to do but, write more songs, right?
Right.
Prepare for the next one.
Right. So you guys are writing right now? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, for sure.
Really? Nice. You guys start off heavy with this record at the very beginning, and you guys sprinkle some melodic stuff in there. How important is it to not have everything sound exactly the same all the way through the beginning to end? Have that melodic stuff sprinkled in there, because not everybody loves the super heavy screaming. Some people like the more melodic with the clean vocals too.
Exactly. It's funny you mentioned that. Yeah. It gets boring sometimes, depending on the person. There's people that like the AC/DC style, right?
Yeah.
And that's fine. It works too, but for some people like us, we need to add different atmospheres and textures, right? And keep it interesting for ourselves too.
Yeah, definitely. It makes it fun for the fans too, because metal fans, metalheads, man, have some of the most eclectic musical tastes and styles of any music fan. It's fun when you sit down and just talk to a rock fan and a metalhead about what kind of music they like. Sometimes you're surprised. So it's a lot of fun to listen to this record. There's so many different styles of rock and metal on it. But you guys were getting ready to go out with Sepultura. Those dates have been rescheduled. So you guys are going to go out on that tour package at some point later this year. Is that right?
Next year, actually.
Next year. Okay.
But yeah, at least we have that going for us, right?
Yeah. Yes. Hopefully. Because I think you guys were going to come. To our area. I think Indianapolis, or maybe I'm thinking my home state of I know you guys are going to Iowa City, which those guys know how to fucking throw it down out there. That's for sure. But with a tour package like this, it's you guys, Sacred Reich, Sepultura, Crowbar. Talk about a metal tour, man. What are you guys looking forward to the most with when it finally happens? Because now you guys were excited about it to begin with, but now you've got another year to prep and kind of hold all that shit in, and you guys can finally let loose when that happens.
Yeah, exactly. It's such a bummer when it gets canceled, but since the beginning, our idea was dude, we're gonna go on tour with these legendary bands, right?
Yeah.
We're gonna learn a lot just watching them work and listening to them,
Yeah.
So that's really, really exciting for a new band like us, So go and keep your eyes and ears open and learn, how it's done.
Yeah.
And that's the education part, Money cannot pay for that. That's amazing.
Right.
A great opportunity. And then second of all, it's on a great tour like this, we couldn't ask for anything better, right, to promote our debut album. And when in metal, especially underground metal, that's one of our only avenues to market our stuff and show it to people, right?
Yeah.
So once it got canceled, it was a little dark moment.
Right. How do you, when the record releases at the time it did, when everything hit with a horrible time that it hit, how creative do you have to get when you're promoting a record, your debut record, be it that, during a time when you can't properly tour and do everything you would normally do to promote? How creative do you guys have to get with this album release?
Well, do what you can, right? For example, doing these interviews.
Yeah.
This interview is really important, That's one of our only avenues right now, and our only way to put the word out. And thank you very much for it.
Oh, yeah.
We really appreciate it.
Oh, yeah.
of course, thinking about like the future, right? What are we gonna do in the next few months?
Mm-hmm.
Where we still cannot go out and play. So we're preparing some things like little surprises, and hopefully we're gonna have something soon.
Yeah, so I mean, do you guys have to look at like a lot of bands are doing like the live streaming? I know a couple of bands have done live streaming concerts that they've been received pretty well. It's not quite the same, but at least it's a concert, and a lot of people are viewing those. I mean, do you guys look at the live streaming avenue or the Patreon or like Facebook streaming like Q&As? I mean, what do you guys look at?
For sure, the streaming concerts, that's a really interesting one, right? I guess we all have to try it. Probably every single band has to try it.
Yeah.
And we will doing little things, like you say, Q&As or little Facebook chats, that type of stuff. Acoustic versions of the songs, Let's go and play them live.
Yeah.
And those little things, probably special videos, homemade stuff.
Yeah, and a lot of bands are doing like reimagined type stuff, like they're reworking some songs into like a different style or like an acoustic style or like with different elements sprinkled in, just kind of like, releasing new music, but it's not new, but it's new. It's a new style. You guys are writing though. I mean, how long have you been writing for the next record? Because I mean, at the beginning, nobody really knew how long all of this was going to go. We thought it'd be over by like June or July. And now we are almost 6 months, 5.5 months later almost, and it's still going on. So, I mean, at what point do you sit down and decide, you know what, let's just start writing some more? Do you do that before the record releases or shortly after, or do you wait a little bit? At what point did you guys decide to start writing again?
I mean, I was writing before the record drop. But then when this started, I was, we were all fucking locked down for 3 months, basically, doing nothing.
Right. Yeah. All of us. Yeah. Yeah. It was a weird time. That's for sure.
Yeah. Very weird.
Yeah.
But also there's like some positives, right? Like hang out with the family.
Yeah.
Do stuff that you didn't have time to do, like playing video games, reading books, that type of stuff, watching movies, which I think it's important to take a little time off.
Yeah.
Yeah. And learn how to take time off, right? Like not go crazy.
Yeah, I had to learn how to be home every night again because I haven't been home every night in over 10 years. I'm usually off covering shows or games or something. And I was like, I told my wife, I'm like, don't take this the wrong way, but I don't know how to, I don't know how to be here. Like, I don't know, like you have to learn how to not do anything because you're always doing something, like it's been an odd time. I mean, but it's been a dark time for a lot of people. I mean, there's some dark elements on Dark Angelus, obviously, but how lyrically and thematically, how does the new music sound? Is a little bit darker because of the state of mind that we're all in when all this stuff is going on, or I mean, what does it sound like?
I think it's obviously going to be darker.
Sure.
Probably every single metalhead's writing in darker tones, even if they're really dark already,
Yeah, exactly. As if it wasn't already dark enough with everything. We got to go darker, man. Metal got happy. We need to get it dark again. Just kidding.
We're probably going to get a lot of really interesting works.
Yeah.
Being born out of this situation.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward for that, It's probably going to be a really good moment for metal like next year, or,
Oh, man.
Whenever this ends, and it's going to be really good.
Oh, God. It's going to be a huge boom, like for not just metal, but all music, because if everything is back to normal next summer, which it doesn't, who knows, but if it does, we're going to have all the tours that were already scheduled for next summer on top of all of the stuff that was rescheduled from this year to next year. So when all of this ends, I feel like everybody is going to win because there's going to be so much to do, and everybody's going to want to get back and be ready and go back. Even if they weren't going to tour, they're going to tour, So, I mean, I feel like it's going to be a really fun year when all of this finally ends,
Exactly. That and the music that, all the bands are going to generate, and artists, you say, like in any genre.
Yeah.
We have the time right now to work on a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And that's also a blessing, like bands. This is our first Art Geezar album, right?
Yeah.
But think about bands that have been on the road for decades,
Mm-hmm.
And they have like very limited time to go and write and record the next album, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now they have this luxury of time.
a lot of bands have talked about how they've released an album this year and they're already writing for, like you guys, writing for the second album. And there's a chance that some bands could have 1, 2, maybe 3 records or EPs released between tour cycles. I mean, I feel like that could make touring very, very, like the concerts, interesting, because there will be so much new material for bands to pick and choose from on the set list. They're also going to have to balance that with the songs that fans haven't been able to hear live in a year or two. So it's going to be very interesting for the live shows when all that happens with all the new music there's going to be. But it's also going to be interesting because fans will have had so much time to sit with it and get to know it. So it'll be played live for the first time, but not necessarily new for anybody at the same time. So it's going to be interesting.
Exactly. This is the material is going to be a year old for the band presenting it.
Yeah, and that's not, I mean, we've never seen that before. So I'm very excited about what concerts are going to look like, and you know, if there's going to be anything different about how they work or how they operate, or you know, if we'll get festivals back sooner or later. I mean, there's so many unknowns, but one thing's for sure is we need it back. So
yeah, for sure. Like you say, I think it's going to be a boom. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, definitely. And man, thank you so much for talking to me today. Dark Angelus is out now. If people haven't heard it, they need to pick it up. It's on Spotify, but go buy the goddamn album instead of listening on Spotify, because you know,
please. That would help a lot.
Good God, fans need. I don't think it's stressed enough. It wasn't stressed enough before, but more so now. Fans need to buy music and merchandise from bands like their merch stores online, and not from a Hot Topic or an FYE or a record store or on Spotify. They need to buy it directly from the band, because you guys need the support more than ever right now to keep going. So fans really need to, whether it's a mask or a shirt or a sticker or a CD or a hoodie, something off of the merch stores online, and give the money back to the bands. I feel
exactly. I couldn't say it better, you know, like because it does really help, really right now, especially like you said.
Yeah.
You know, in this kind of bleak situation.
Yeah, exactly. Spotify doesn't pay you guys anything to begin with, so fuck them. Let's buy the music and listen to it on the actual CD.